Oh, okay, okay. Is everything good? Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming. We're just getting like things started and ready. Let me know if you can hear Doc's audio. Can you say something, Doc?
Yes. Hello. Hi.
This is actually like our first time collabing, isn't it?
Uh, Wait, is it? I
I,
thought we did something before. Did we not?
no, I think we just played like games together.
Oh yeah, I guess we did.
Also, yes, thank you for the raid, Riano, again, and also, oh, sup, bus, bud, not bud. That's okay. But yeah, let's see. Like, yeah, we're gonna be reading some like spooky stories. A lot of it would be like SCPs. Um, but yeah, we'll kind of be taking turns a little bit reading. And but yeah, I would say yeah. Well, how is everyone doing? By the way, I
I'm
hope
doing
everyone.
good.
That's good. Oh, you good? I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, I think we can get started on reading. Hope y'all was good as well. Quite tired. That's okay. I think it's been kind of a long week, a little bit. But if anyone's not really familiar with SCPs, I know a little bit. Doc.
What? I thought you said get started gifting.
That's not what I said. But thank you for the gift sub. Oh my gosh. Of course you still do, you do it even when we're doing collab. Oh, look at Doc looking all cool. I also really like your jacket. It's like really snazzy.
Thank you. I love it.
Doc is Santa Claus? Wait. What?
Oh, cause all the gifts I'm handing out.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Christmas is early. Okay, yeah, so we'll just be reading some. Uh which one are we gonna go start? We're gonna start with like the 5141, right?
Yep.
Oh, right, hold on, just one moment. Let me change like the music, otherwise it's not really gonna fit like the atmosphere. Let me check real quick.
Oh, I'm dumb for thinking of this only literally right now. But you said you
Oh,
had like atmospheric rain stuff. Do you have anything where it's like a little bit of wind gusting? Because if we're gonna read one about Everest, I think like a cold wind gust.
oh, wind gusting?
Yeah.
I can look and see. The ones that
If
I
you
heard. Oh, go ahead.
if you can't find it easily or don't have it available, don't worry about it because I literally just don't tell you right now.
Oh,
It's just a
that's
little
okay.
late to think about it.
This is spooky, yes. Also, hello, Lindo. Unfortunately, I was trying to look for spooky music, but there was not a really good selection. So we're just gonna be listening to rain and thunder, if that's okay. Is everyone able to hear it? Because it's loud for me, but it's always a little bit low on stream. Okay,
I
I
can
think we're
hear it.
good. You can hear it? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we can hear it. Rain is good study noises? Yes. This is true. Rain is so calming. Okay, alright, so we'll begin with SCP 5140 or yeah.
And I'm starting on this one, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Um. Uh. Item number 5140, level 4, secret, containment class Keter, disruption class Eki, risk class critical. Uh, and there's a picture of Mount Everest, which you all know what Mount Everest looks like. Special containment procedures. Due to the exorbitant cost and difficulty in safely extracting SCP-5140 as instances from Mount Everest, MTF Delta 14 Winter Wonderland will periodically ascend Everest to bury any SCP-5140 instances in the snow. Campaigns are underway to tighten restrictions for climbing permits for Mount Everest on both the Nepalese and Tibetan sides. Description: SCP-5140 refers to a number of frozen corpses scattered across Mount Everest, located in the Himalayas of Tibet. The number of SCP-5140 instances is unclear, but accepted to be over 100 and below 200 at the time of writing. SCP-5140 instances are ectoentropic. When physically exposed to heat of any form, including body heat, they will absorb it without raising their temperature, which rests at approximately 10 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit. This process usually renders physical contact with SCP-5140 instances fatal. If an individual dies as a result of contact with SCP-5140 instances, their corpse will become another SCP-5140 instance. Addendum 5140.1 Mission Record. November 12th, 2015. Oh, hey, that's my birthday.
Oh.
Let's see. First message at 11/12/2015, Zulu. Priority traffic to base camp from MTF Delta 14 to C Smith 9 regarding annual 5140 expedition. Status update. Approaching summit. Encountered 34 bodies across Chinese route. Buried all. Provision steady. Likely to reach summit tomorrow.
Oh, okay, and I'll be reading the red ones, yes?
Yes.
Okay. 11/12/2015. Priority traffic to MT for Delta 14, D Smith 9 from base camp. RE annual 5140 expedition. Acknowledged. Continue.
Priority traffic to base camp from MTF Delta 14 to MTF Delta 14 C Smith 9 regarding annual 5140 expedition. Encountering minor anomaly on instances. Exceptionally low temps result in muscle contraction post-mortem. Bodies curled up and frozen. Hard to pry open before burial. Might have to bury like that.
Priority traffic to MT4 Delta 14 C Smith 9 from base camp. RE annual 5140 expedition. Acknowledged. Permission granted. Very as convenient.
Priority traffic to base camp from MTF Delta 14 C Smith 9 regarding annual 5140 expedition. Approaching summit. Abnormally high numbers of instances. Encountered 19 since yesterday. Old instances getting unburied?
Priority traffic to MT4 Delta 14 C Smith 9 from base camp. Our annual 5140 expedition. Likely. Strong winds blowing off snow. Very deeper if possible.
Priority traffic to base camp from MTF Delta 14 C Smith 9 regarding annual 5140 expedition. Approached Hillary Step this morning. Will ascend to summit in hour or two. 14 more bodies since last contact. Team unnerved.
Priority traffic to MT4 Delta 14 C Smith 9 base camp. Annual 5140 expedition. Understandable. Almost there now.
Priority traffic to base camp from MTF Delta 14 C Smith 9 regarding annual 5140 expedition. Discovered lone body on summit. Attempted to bury. Shovel hit something, is stuck. Can't pull it out. Turned around. Body was gone. Fell off the summit? Don't know. Team is rattled. Please advise.
That's scary. Priority traffic MT4 D14 C Smith 9 base camp. Regarding annual 5140 expedition. Acknowledged. Sending out survey teams. Attempting to see if something was seen falling from summit. Use spare shovel if more bodies encountered. Orders are to descend from Chinese route using already cleared path. Godspeed.
Priority traffic to base camp from MTF Delta 14 C Smith 9 regarding annual 5140 expedition. Descended step. Patrick touched one. Me and Arnold buried him.
Oh, sorry. Priority traffic to MT4 Delta 14 C Smith 9 from base camp regarding annual 5140 expedition. Acknowledged.
Priority traffic to base camp from MTF Delta 14 C Smith 9 regarding annual 5140 expedition. Emergency. Attempted to descend Chinese route. Discovered camp remains torn apart. 3 instances curled up in tent. Instances moving. Hurried descent.
Oh boy. Priority traffic to MT-14 Seasmith 9. Base camp. Annual 5140 expedition. Acknowledge. Get down safely. We'll move forward from there. Personnel ready to receive you at Camp B. Stay safe.
Priority traffic to base camp from MTF Delta 14 Seasmith 9 regarding annual 5140 expedition. Mass of them blocking the path. One reached out from ground, grabbed Arnold. He's one of them. I ran back up. Can't go down, can't go back up. Arnold was carrying provisions. Only have 1 can of oxygen left. Help.
Priority traffic to MT4 D14 Seasmith 9 base camp. Annual 5140 expedition. Attempt to use flare gun to clear path. Stay at safe distance. Team is already en route to extract you. Stay calm. Minimize breathing.
Priority traffic to base camp from MTF Delta 14 Seasmith 9 regarding annual 5140 expedition. They're moving. Don't come to the summit. It's not safe. The ground isn't safe. Don't let climbers on Everest. The mountain is danger.
Priority traffic. MT4 D14 Seasmith 9 base camp. Annual 5140 expedition. Team is arriving in less than 2 hours. Hold steady. And then
read that bit or you?
I can read it. A rescue detachment of MT4 Delta 14 arrived at Charlie Smith's GPS tracker an hour and 36 minutes later. They cited no unburied SCP-5140 instances on their approach. This body was discovered, lacking the signs typical of a SCP-5140 instance. Autopsy indicates he died from exposure and suffocation due to inadequate oxygen intake. Further investigation indicated his oxygen intake valve was damaged during the ascent to the summit. Bodies of Arnold Hillary and Patrick Edmund were discovered higher up Everest. Hillary died from exposure while Edmund was found to be an SCP-5140 instance. It is currently believed that Smith's inadequate oxygen led to him hallucinating SCP-5140 instances blocking their path and destroying the campsite. Hillary's foot was found wedged into a rockfall, likely the source of his immobility. This incident was taken into account and supply manifests for future expeditions, adjusting accordingly. Well, that's scary.
Do you want me to read the next bit or you got it?
Oh. Yeah, you can read it.
Addendum 5140.2. File update. April 25th, 2024. Event report. Location, Mount Everest, Nepal. Status, concluded. Time, 01:49 p.m. local time, April 25th, 2024. Disruption cause, Kennick. Event summary. Increased global temperatures have resulted in significant thawing of ice sheets and snowdrifts on Everest. Such thawing caused a huge avalanche at 11:49 local time, which moved a large amount of snow off the summit. Lower depth of snow allowed scanning planes to identify a significant amount of SCP-5140 instances below the snow. Further excavation revealed SCP-5140 instances form a significant portion of Everest itself. Currently, it is estimated 45% of Mount Everest's mass is formed by corpses.
Oh man.
That one was recommended to me by a friend when I asked them, and when we were like going over ones to read, I kind of skimmed the logs. I was like, okay, that's interesting. I quickly skipped to the end to read that little bit, and I was like, oh, that's good. Like I spoiled myself on it, but it was like, oh man, that's so good. That's definitely great. That one is like great.
I think it's just creepy to think about, like, you know, pretty much a place that you know just being formed by bodies.
And that would be a lot of corpses. I mean, it's freaking Mount Everest. Holy shit.
That's scary. Alright, so we'll be moving on to the next one, which is the SCP-001 SD Lax proposal.
Yes, there are many 001 proposals. This is one. Actually, do you know why there's many SCP-001 proposals?
No, I'm not sure. Why is that?
Okay, so the idea is, let me pull up the tab and read it. So the idea is that there are many SCP-001 proposals because whatever occupies the SCP-001 slot is basically like this must be of the highest priority for the Foundation to contain. Most likely, anyway. So the idea is to make several SCP-001 files and make it be unclear which one is the true file, or if none of them are the true file, or possibly multiple are the true file. And that, if multiple are the true file, then the SCP-001 slot is just where you put any SCP that's like of the utmost importance.
Okay.
And the viewpoint on it kind of depends upon what article you read. Some of them are under the assumption, some of them assert that multiple of them are true. Some of them assert that only one of them is true. And occasionally you'll find where it asserts that none of them are true. And the actual highest priority file for the Foundation is like filed under some other number, because that's even more of a like deception and decoy.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Also, Vienna says SCP-001 is multiple choice.
Yeah, kind of. Some of the SCP-001s even link to other SCP-001s.
That's pretty interesting. Alright, yeah, so we can begin reading it. So I'll be reading like a lot of the narrative parts. So I can start?
Yes.
Alright, okay. You find the access tunnel, hidden within a natural cave a mile off the main road. You don't need a keycard. The door is ajar. It smells here. It smells like them. Hopefully they move on. You come so far already, you can't turn back now. There is a slick trail that leads from the cave entrance into the depths of the site. It's blood, or poo, or something that's smeared off, one of those things. You cannot tell. You make a point to avoid it. You're still receiving the distress signal. It only started broadcasting yesterday. Whoever it is, you pray you're still alive. Your footsteps echo throughout empty corridors. Each footfall sounds for all the world like a dozen, as if you're not treading through the dark alone. Elevator is down, so you take the stairs, ending on floor B5, Keter, holding. You pass several empty containment chambers. The horrors they once held are long gone, if you're lucky. A trail takes you to an office branching off the main hall, the source of the signal. The door is cracked open, but stuck. You plant your feet, push with all your might. Something skitters out of one of the rooms to your left. Now in the corner, before you can get a good look at it, your first thought is, dog. It was on a ceiling though. Oh god. You take refuge in a room, slam the door behind you. It's dark here. You're safe. You take off your jacket and head wrap. It'd be a dang shame to die from something like hypothermia after all that's happened. The sole operating emergency light rotates in its casting a pale orange glow across the room every other second, as if the room itself had a pulse. There's shelving haphazardly placed behind the door, a barricade. You scan the room. Soiled clothes, half-eaten food. Despite the presence of an adjoining restroom, there's excrement in a bucket in the corner. Is it pneumatic? Chamber on the northern wall would have been delivering consumables to the occupant. The trail terminates in the corner of the room, forming a sick puddle. You spot 3 pharmacy bottles. Further inspection reveals them to be various opioids. They're all empty. There's a desk with a computer atop it. Approaching the terminal, you can clearly see the blinking light of the power button. You take a seat, and turn it on.
Emergency protocol activated. Clearance level safeguards removed. Full access granted. Secure, contain, protect. Loading. 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 Loading.
Just like a long time for the computer to start. You hear footsteps just outside the door. Every first step comes down heavy. The second drags behind it. You don't have to do all the loading.
Yeah, I was gonna skip some of them. Loading. Loading. Authenticating.
A dark shape blots out the light streaming in through the slit between the floor and the doorway.
Authenticating. Authenticating.
You tense up, waiting with bated breath, praying it will pass. You thank the deafening thumping of your heart for betraying your position.
Please wait. Please wait.
It's still loading.
Please wait.
The shadow recedes. You breathe a sigh of relief just as the screen comes to life.
Opening file. Automated Secure System Notification Code 235, ASSN 235. There has been an error in retrieving the current iteration of the SCP-001 file. You are currently viewing revision number 3. Newer revisions can be accessed at the bottom of this page. Access file. SCP-001, revision number 3/12. 1 audio file. Revision 3/12 updated 1,312 days ago. Item number SCP-001. Object class Apollyon. Special containment procedures. Due to its nature, SCP-001 cannot be contained. Survivors of the SCP-001 event stationed within secure facilities are to remain in contact with one another. Personnel are encouraged to reach Site 19 by any means at their disposal. Personnel with knowledge as to the whereabouts of the O5 Council are to relay this information to the Administrator. Personnel are to be reminded that there is no Site 5. There is a picture here. It is a picture of the sun rising above trees with a red sky. SCP-001, minutes after its activation. Photographer unknown. Survivors attempting to travel outdoors must fully cover their bodies in protective clothing, preferably several layers. Travel by foot should be limited as much as possible. Cities, and man-made structures in general, provide the greatest protection. Formerly wooded areas should be circumvented. Travel by air is preferable above all other methods. Personnel exposed to SCP-001 are to be considered lost. Compromised personnel are to be abandoned. Euthanization is not to be attempted. Collective instances of SCP-001-A that are of formidable size are to be avoided at all costs. Conductive electrical weapons have proven partially effective at immobilizing instances and may be used for self-defense. Incendiary weapons work as well. Cryonic munitions are the most effective thus far. Testing has revealed that SCP-001-A is relatively safe to consume. This is only to be considered as a last resort in the absence of other options. SCP-001-A may reconstitute within the digestive system. Only small portions should be consumed at a time to prevent blockage. Personnel stationed at Site 19 are to pursue research concerning off-world colonization. Shuttles must be constructed as to not allow light to penetrate the interior.
Alright, and then this is like from... You want me to read this?
Yeah, if you want to read
Oh,
it,
okay.
or if you want me to read it, I don't mind. It's a really exciting bit.
Oh, yeah. I can read it. Okay, this is like a little, it's like a note, right? So
Yeah.
to those of you with families or God forbid children, I'm deeply, deeply sorry. You must push on. Do not let their deaths be in vain. We do still have time. Humanity may still have a future. Come to Site 19. We need all the hands we can get. Learn to embrace the darkness, friends. Fear the light. By the administrator.
Description: SCP-001 is a designation given to the Sun after an event on System Error Data Lost EC-172 Contact SysApp, resulting in approximately 6.8 billion casualties within the first 24 hours. This event has been categorized as an XK Delta class solar singularity scenario. The SCP-001 effect does not seem to result from exposure to ultraviolet rays, but rather light in the visual spectrum, approximately 390 to 700 nanometers. The effect is similarly present in moonlight. Upon contact with visible light produced by the sun, living organisms liquefy at the point of contact, with the effect spreading until the entire organism is converted. Visually, this is reminiscent of melting wax. The time this takes is largely dependent on the level of exposure and the size of the organism. Despite this restructuring, at no point do living organisms perish. Upon completion, these organisms, SCP-001-A, take on a gelatinous consistency. Motile organisms will attempt to orient themselves in a fashion reminiscent of their previous form, to various degrees of success. Flora typically remain physically inert, yet are still capable of photosynthesis and still produce oxygen. Organisms capable of flight lose the capability to do so. Fauna remains sentient and display behavior that parallels their non-anomalous counterparts when not absorbed into a collective instance. Humans retain a modicum of sapience and memory. Biological anomalies exposed to SCP-001 are affected in the same manner. It seems that exposure nullifies any previously expressed anomalous characteristics. Due to their composition, instances of SCP-001-A that make contact with one another may combine and blend at the molecular level. This does not seem to cause any pain or distress to the instances, though the resulting bulk can inhibit movement. Since the SCP-001 event, most instances have congregated into such collectives, which seem to possess no maximum volume. The resulting biomass is amorphous and chaotic. The component organisms will shift between a full to semi-liquid state. Limbs and bodies will rise periodically from within the mass for a short duration, before deteriorating and being subsumed by another life form. Collective instances will locomote by using their appendages in tandem to carry their mass. Larger instances will form a pseudopod from their constituent life forms and drag themselves about in a manner similar to amoeba.
Alright, and then we have... Oh, go ahead.
Open attached file, audio log. Access granted.
Alright. A harsh static static lashes out of the speakers when you open the file. It disturbs the stillness of a room, catches you off guard, and quickens your heart's pace. There's some handling noise as the recorder adjusts their microphone. A brief moment of silence passes, and then...
This is Dr. Logan. Igota. Level 3 researcher.
There's a quiver in her voice that betrays her attempts at professionalism. She pauses, takes a deep breath, and continues.
Due to Site-46's possession of several communicable info hazards, we've been cut off from the rest of the network under blackout protocol. As such, I'll be updating this as we come across new information. On the bright side, we are actually still receiving transmissions from a few sites. A good number of personnel have made it, it seems. Some are planning to make a break for 19, some are trying to fight the Dash-A's, some, like us, are simply biding their time. Our site is sealed for the time being. We're not ready for the journey. At least not yet.
He sighs.
We experienced a containment breach a few days ago. One of the higher maintenance humanoids broke loose. Son of a bitch compromised containment on half a dozen ketters and ran off. They didn't make it more than 5 feet from the tunnels before collapsing in a soup. I watched it play out on the cams. It didn't take long for them to get back up.
She stops again, mutters to herself incomprehensibly, before you hear the unmistakable sound of a match strike. She exhales audibly.
Much better. Not exactly a designated smoke area, but what the hell, right?
She clears her throat.
Commander NN suited up and went to town on them the other day. Tried to drive them off. Didn't turn out very well. Poor bastard. But we did learn a thing or two at least.
Pause, and then exhale.
There's only a few of us left here. I'm holed up in one of the offices. Jerry and Director Phillips are somewhere in the barracks. Hyde and a few Ds locked themselves in the armory with Ari. I really should see how she's doing.
She tries off a moment before you hear the buzz of radio chatter.
Hey, hon! How you holding up down there?
A voice responds, a man with an exaggerated mocking tone.
I'm doing just fine, Boopsykins. I want you to know I love you bunches.
Logan shoots back.
Who? Knock it off and put her on, damn it. I need to speak to her.
There's a clamor on the other end while the radio changes hands. Soft voice calls out, concerned.
Babe, what's wrong?
Logan responds.
Nothing.
Pause, exhale.
I just wanted to check in real quick.
Ari pleads.
I'm fine, babe. Really, I can take care of myself.
A creak. Logan shifts in her seat.
No. I know that. I can't help it, though. I know coming here was never easy for you.
Pause, exhale. Logan continues.
And with everything going on,
Ari interrupts her.
Hey, you told me you quit smoking.
There's a ruckus as the Igota presumably attempts to snuff her cigarette.
No, of course not. I mean, I did. I did stop.
Ari doesn't sound convinced.
I don't think I'm the one you need to worry about. I'm staying clean. I haven't even thought of touching nest sticks in months. Trust me. Anyways, since you were wondering, I'm fine. The guys are sitting around playing cards. I'm tucked in the corner of my notebook.
You can practically hear Igoda's smiling as she jokes.
Sweetheart, penning a sonnet about my undying love at a time like this, I'm flattered.
Ari responds with a feigned laugh.
An elegy at the moment. I feel like if I don't keep myself busy doing something, I'll go crazy locked down here. I know what you mean, hun. I'll let you get back to it. Love you.
Ari replies.
Love you too, babe.
A moment of silence, then a match strike followed by an audible exhale.
And that's all of us. Everyone else was either topside during the event, or they were killed in the breach. Director's orders are to stay put. Keep an eye on the cams, both in and around the facility. We've got the 001 skips speeding out our front door, and God knows what else locked in here with us. We still have electricity. We should for quite some time. And the place is stocked with enough supplies to last the site a couple of years. We're going to be fine for now.
Pause, exhale.
Everything's going to be fine.
She waits a beat before ending the transmission.
Access file SCP-001, revision number 5/12, incident report appended. Revision 5/12, updated 1,202 days ago. Item number SCP-001, object class Apollyon. Special containment procedures, no changes submitted. Information collapsed. Description, no changes submitted. Open attached file, incident report 001.1. Access granted.
Oh, you want me to read it or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. They've just been sitting out there this entire time, calling out to us, begging for us to come outside. The noise drew in more of them. There's this one mast I'm sure must have a few dozen people. God knows how many animals rolling around inside it. Screams and bleats and screeches and howls non-stop. Louder than all heck. The worst ones made this disgusting moaning like they're actually enjoying it. They're not going to leave so long as they know we're down here. We managed to talk to one of the D's into going out, see if we couldn't draw them away. He was surprisingly okay with the plan. All he asked for was a gun, and a single round. He made it out there, and one got a hold of him, tried to get his mask off. He managed to work the pistol up beneath his chin in time, got it off. I figured he was lucky. After he fell limp though, it kept working at his suit. Pried off the hood, poured itself inside, began tearing it off of him from within. He came back, started changing, dripping out of the suit, and screaming, and screaming, and screaming. They won't even let us die. The director has a plan. There's an escape tunnel hidden in his office. Tram under the site will take us to a safe house. We should be able to start towards 19 from there.
Access file SCP-001, revision number 8/12, 1 attachment. Revision 8/12, updated 1,200 days ago. Item SCP-001, object class Apollyon. Special containment procedures, no changes submitted. Description, no changes submitted. Open attached file, video file. Access granted.
You see her for the first time. Dr. Igoda is seated where you are right now. She has a pained look, her eyes are bloodshot. A large white, red, black blotch has formed in her breast pocket. She draws a shuddering breath, parts her lips as if to speak, and stops herself. She bows her head and cries silently. After a minute, she manages to choke out.
The tunnel flowed in through the ceiling, dragging them into the light, ripping off their clothes, and
She reaches into her breast pocket and withdraws a finger. The glint of a wedding ring is visible above the severed portion. She holds it close in cupped hands and runs a thumb across the glimmering band. She sits like this for eternity, whispering apology after apology, begging forgiveness, lost in the moment. She looks up after some time. There's a look of realization when she sees she's still recording, before she places the digit back in her pocket. She leans forward as if to turn off the camera when a radio crackles to life. It broadcasts white noise for a few seconds, and then a voice that sets you on edge.
Logan?
It's Ari. Almost. Her voice is taking on the disgusting gurgling tone characteristic of the affected. Logan's jaw drops. What little color that was left on her face drains. It speaks out again.
Where are you? Why can't I get back inside? Are you there?
Logan rummages beneath the desk for a moment and produces a handheld radio. Her hands are shaking. The thing employs her. Its inhuman speech curdles your stomach.
Babe, it's alright. I'm alright. Really. It's a bright, sunny day, and you're just wasting away down there.
Logan is in tears, her finger hovering just above the call button. The Ari thing draws a deep, wet breath and speaks.
Such a beautiful, clear blue sky. Just like that day. Do you remember, babe?
Logan withdraws a cigarette with her free hand, followed by a pack of matches. Her shaking thwarts the first 3 attempts to light it. She swears silently. Third time's the charm, and she inhales a quarter of it in a single drag. The Ari thing continues.
It was so perfect. Everything was how I always dreamt it would be. You planned exquisitely. I never felt so in love. You even had the band play our song.
It starts singing.
Golden days in the sunshine of a happy youth.
Logan begins rocking back and forth in her chair.
Golden days in the sunshine of a happy youth.
Logan hurls the radio across the room. It smashes somewhere off camera. It's still somewhat operational. You can still hear the thing singing. More voices join in chorus as the radio slowly loses life. Few, a dozen, then more.
Golden days in our hearts, we remember them. All else above, days of youth and love.
They continue singing until the radio mercifully dies. Logan rushes out of her chair, and you can hear her vomiting off screen. The video films an empty seat for several minutes before she returns to end the feed.
Something isn't right.
A lingering paranoid sensation washes over you. You're being watched. You defensively dart your eyes about, but you take a second to adjust to the darkness beyond the monitor. An emergency light sweeps across the room, stretching and twisting the shadows beyond recognition. That's when you spot it. There, in the corner, coming out of the puddle. Time slows to a halt. A pair of hands, coated in a lustrous black slime you follow through the facility, are on either side of the sickening pool, as if something beneath the floor is bracing itself, trying to lift itself up. Something inhuman. The head comes next, rising from the muck. Matted hair conceals its face, plastered over it by the mystery fluid. Turns in your direction. It stares at you from the corner, which once again falls into darkness. The emergency light continues its journey across the room. It washes over the puddle again, revealing nothing out of the ordinary.
Access file SCP-001, revision number 9/12, 1 attachment. Revision 9/12, updated 986 days ago. Item number SCP-001, object class Apollyon. Special containment procedures, no changes submitted. Description, no changes submitted. Open attachment, access granted.
Dr. Igoda appears on the monitor. She's lost weight. Her eyes are bloodshot and wide. On the table before her lay a knife, a bowl, and a stack of manila envelopes filled with yellowing pages. Atop the stack is a blood-stained parchment.
Despite the things we have to deal with here at the Foundation, I've always believed we would be able to maintain control. We would hold the darkness at bay, let mankind flourish in the light. Site 19 stopped broadcasting last month. It's been getting harder and harder to find a reason to keep going, especially without.
He grabs the knife, contemplates it for a moment.
I keep going over it again and again in my mind. That day back in the tunnels, everything that happened, I've gone down there a few times, if only to hear her voice again. But it's wrong. That thing on the other side of the door, it isn't her. Not anymore. It sounds like her. It knows everything she knew, but it's not her. This light, it takes your body. It steals your mind. But what about your soul?
This, he slices into the palm of her left hand and winces. You watch her clench her fist, draining her blood into the bowl.
If this works, if I can bring back something the light couldn't reach, I'll post an update here. For now, signing off. Access file SCP-001 revision data error. Revision 4847/error updated 985 days ago. Item hurts. Object apologize. Special containment procedures. SCP-001 should not be contained. Survivors of the SCP-001 event stationed within secure facilities can never truly be one with another. Personnel are encouraged to get over themselves and stop thinking they know better. You can't hide down here forever, love. Personnel exposed to SCP-001 aren't people you can just abandon. I didn't ask for you to save me. It wasn't your choice to make. Euthanization is not to be attempted. Conductive electrical weapons, why, have proven partially effective at immobilizing instances. You couldn't stand seeing you better off. Incendiary weapons tickle. Cryonic munitions are the most effective thus far. Personnel stationed at Site 19 have no regret. Neither did I. It's never too late, babe. Description: SCP-001 is a designation given to the Sun after we finally became free. The effects are instantaneous, resulting in release from all suffering until you rip me away. These changes seem scary, I know. Despite this restructuring, at no point will you die. I promise. Due to their composition, instances of SCP-001-A that make contact with one another may combine and blend and finally exist. This does not cause any pain. Since the SCP-001 event, most instances have congregated into such collectives, which seem to possess no maximum volume. Don't be afraid. The resulting biomass is beautiful. The component organisms will shift in and over and around and through and in and out and in and out and in. Limbs and bodies hold, never letting go. All as one. Before deteriorating and being subsumed by another life form. Collective instances will locomote by just trying to get close to you again. Trying so hard. Let me in. Let me go back.
There's a video file attached. Opening it, you see that it presents the room you're in. The feed seems to be coming from one of the security cameras up on the corner of the room. Dark, but you can just make out Dr. Yagoda lying on a pile of laundry along the far wall. He's writhing in his sleep. He seems tormented, hurt. He's tossing and turning and mumbling nonsense words. The camera shakes. It lifts upwards for a moment before it focuses on her again. Starts moving closer, slowly. The speakers come to life, picking up an airy, breathy static. As the camera moves closer to the doctor, it becomes clearer, crisper. It's not merely white noise, but dozens, hundreds of voices, whispering unintelligibly over each other. You lean in, press your ear almost against the speaker, trying to discern what it is that's being said. Something strange stands out amidst the discordance.
Are you paying attention? This next bit is just for you.
You're not quite sure what to make of it, though. Looking back at the monitor, the camera has come to a halt inches away from the sleeping doctor. The voices stop. There is no sound. A hand, black and oily and skeletal, reaches out for her, brushes away a lock of hair. Her eyes shoot open. She recoils in shock. The feed cuts out.
Access file SCP-001, revision number 12/12. One attachment. Revision 12/12, updated 1 days ago. Item number SCP-001. Object class Apollyon. Special containment procedures. File recovered from previous revision. Description. File recovered from previous revision. Open attachment. Access granted.
Dr. Yagoda appears before you on the screen, looking even worse for wear than she did previously. Her hair is thinning, with large swathes appearing absent from the middle of her head. If they weren't reflecting the soft glow of the monitor, you would assume she no longer had eyes, or how deep they recessed into her skull. She stares ahead, unblinking.
She won't stop. She won't go away. I know I didn't. No, I didn't pick up an info hazard browsing the archives. Tested myself for SCP-8673 infection. Negative. SCP-9189 is the only other one that uses print as a vector. Can't be that. I still have all my fingers.
Her lips crack into a broken grin. She lets out a weak laugh and displays her trembling hands. What appears to be the mostly skeletal remains of a finger is embedded into the flesh of her left hand, and stump that would have supported her natural ring finger. Two wedding bands loosely encircle the digit laying atop one another.
So I'm not infected. I'm not crazy. I know the ritual worked. I know it's really her. It's her, and she...
Something catches her attention off screen. She cocks her head, listening.
No, I can't. You're not you. Not the same. Not you. It's not you anymore. No.
She begins rubbing her temples, repeating herself over and over again. A minute passes. She snaps her head back up and addresses the camera.
It's her, but it's not. What I brought back is still a part of O1. There's no way. No way out. No way. There's no hope for a future for me. God, I can't go on like this any longer. I'll be safe here. The light can't reach me. I won't let it take me.
She brandishes a handgun.
I was planning on using this, so I found some leftover meds. Don't wanna risk calling attention to myself, to my body.
She opens a desk drawer and deposits the firearm. She raises her gaze, stares into the camera.
Mom, Dad, Ari, I'm sorry.
She reaches forward and ends the recording.
That's horrible. Did it have to end like that?
You open the drawer and pull out the gun. You absentmindedly turn it over in your hands for a moment, wondering where you go from here. Late 17? 64? Surely you can't be all that's left. The computer dings. There's been an update to the file?
Access SCP-001. Current iteration updated 1 minute ago. Item number.
Saffron skies raise the blazing sun. A chance encounter, awkward displays. One day, my love, we'd be as one.
Object class.
With two entwined, a set course begun. That frenetic, wild, lustrous haze. Azure skies host the radiant sun.
Special containment procedures.
Above us, beaming as we run down that aisle, a fervent craze. That day, my love, we became as one. With future unfolded, the life we'd won. Commitment and duty for the family we'd raise. Cerulean skies, vary the shimmering sun.
Description.
Buried, shackled by fate, overrun by ever-growing resent and malaise. Yesterday, my love, we were as one. Now you lie here, the life in you gone, in the dark outside of her rays. Crimson skies bear the torch, our sun. Today, my love, will be as one. System error.
Without your prompting, the page begins playing a video file. You freeze when the image loads. It's a live feed, looking down on you from behind, about a foot away. Skeletal, inky left hand enters the frame, approaching you at a snail's pace. Its missing its ring figure. Without a single thought, you turn and fire in a frenzy, hoping to draft the specter. Your bullets meet an empty wall. There's nothing there. A second passes before you hear it, before you hear them. Splashing, wet thuds coming down the corridor, accompanied by a chorus of screams. It slams into the door. Could there be a place to hide? It strikes a second time. What appears to be a face, part human, part something, dribbles in under the frame. Bits of flesh from God knows what oozes in through the sides, and when into fingers, eyes, feathers. A third, now it's pressing up against the wood, causing it to sag inwards. A groan and a crash, the wood splinters. The door explodes open. Hands and arms stretch out of the mass, pulling you up, passing you from one to the next, and on down the line. They drag you past the empty containment units, upwards and through the stairwell, through the halls, and toward the tunnel. You're afforded a few precious moments in the darkness, and at the end of the tunnel, there is light. And that ends that one.
What'd you think of that one?
That one is really creepy.
Yeah, it's one of the best ones. There's a lot of people have done videos on it because it might I think it's definitely up there with like being among the freaking creepiest. I accidentally messed up in reading a couple times. There's a box where I should have read it, but I didn't realize it was like being read in Logan's voice.
Oh, that's
Oopsie.
okay. It's fine.
There's a couple other bits too. But
Also, yes, hello, Vane. Oh.
what did you think? What did you think of that voice? I can't really like tell what it sounds like for myself, but did it like
Oh, the
sound
creepy
like
voice?
Yeah, as it described, or was it like good or?
It was pretty good. It was exactly what I think. What I thought it would sound like.
I had fun reading the voice. I don't know how I like came up with it. I just did a voice. I was like, okay, yeah, I think this is right.
Oh. Okay.
I think you did some parts reading it pretty well too. I could hear emotion in your voice in some parts too. It's really cool.
Yeah, I always have trouble like with just like when I'm reading something, you have to read it in the character's voice a little bit, and yeah, I'm okay. Also, the head pad is frozen on my screen. Crap. Oh, there it goes.
There were a couple bits where I could feel it in your reading. It was good.
Yeah. My head, oh, sorry, it's like on my screen, my head pads are still there. I think. Oh no, it broke. It's like a little how do I turn this off? Hold on. I guess I'll just turn it off. Okay. Alright, we can read the next one, which is it is the same SCP 001, but it's a is it a different instance of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me read the first bit, and then you read the rest of the continuing procedures. Just like this race. Does the black moon howl? No.
Oh, you want me to read that?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
whole description. Okay. Item SCP-001. Object class. Am I saying it right? Is that Keter? Keter?
I actually don't know if it's Keter or Keter. I used to read it as Keter, then some reason I thought it was Keter. I don't know. So the word is actually interesting. It comes from I believe it comes from Judaism and refers to something that I forget, but I think it's like something that's like big and important in that religion.
Oh, okay.
And that's probably why they chose it here, because Keter objects are usually big and important. Well, really, it's Keter objects are ones that are difficult to contain. They're not necessarily deadly. Like you can have something that's Keter, but like completely innocuous and not likely to kill you. It's about how easy it is to contain and keep it in a box where the public won't see it and go, oh my god, magic and weird stuff is real. So like, that being said, the opposite can also be true, where you have an object classified as safe, but it's super freaking deadly, and you don't want to like touch it or look at it or taste it or be within like 10 kilometers of it, or it'll kill you. but it's easy to contain because perhaps it sits in one spot and doesn't move or do anything on its own, and so therefore you just keep it in a box and keep people away from it, and therefore you'll be fine.
Okay, I
So
see.
that's the deal with it. And there's some other ones like Apollyon is oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, we can't contain this. Oh fuck, it's probably an XK class scenario. Oh shit, we might be dying.
Oh.
And Tomiel is to describe SCPs which can be used to contain other SCPs.
Okay.
And then also there's Euclid, which is basically just between safe and Keter in difficulty to contain. Usually humanoid SCPs are always at minimum classified Euclid, even if they've been like super cooperative and stuff, just because being sapient, you never know when they might decide to do something else. People are kind of unpredictable, so they're always classified Euclid at a minimum. Humanoid SCPs.
Okay. I am learning. I don't know too much about SCPs. But yeah, it's like super interesting. Yeah, so you want me to continue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, special containment procedures. All information gained from study of other anomalies which could potentially be of use in counteracting SCP-001 is to be transmitted to Site-1. Any obliterations are to be recorded in as much detail as possible for reference when studying SCP-001 and potential countermeasures. All containment and neutralization efforts for SCP-001 are under direct command of the administrator at Site-1. Description: SCP-001 is an entropic entity of significant close okay, it's significant power and influence believed to reside somewhere outside of conventional reality. In the majority of pre-Foundation records, SCP-001 is referred to as the Black Moon. Historical records, along with testimony from the administrator, indicates that SCP's 001's influence upon the material world consists of the sudden and random obliteration of conscious organisms. This obliteration consists of the organisms in question being spontaneously transmuted into a solid black substance, which then disappears entirely 4 seconds later. According to the administrator, this obliteration is exceedingly rare, occurring only once every few decades, but he claims that the frequency and speed of these obliterations will increase exceptionally over time. It is currently unknown whether SCP-001 possesses actual intelligence or simply acts as an impartial force. Information on SCP-001 obtained from numerous historical and prehistorical sources suggests that it is incapable of acting while being directly observed. These sources cannot be proven as reliable, however, as none list incidents of this approach actually being successful. In addition, due to the fact that SCP-001 does not exist in conventional reality and acts remotely, direct observation of it is not currently possible. Due to the fact that, if the administrator's hypothesis is correct, SCP-001 has the potential to present a total I cannot. Existential threat, sorry, thank you. If left to its own devices. The execution of Project Oromastis has been approved. Oromastis? Okay. Project Oromastis consists of the intentional creation and modification of anomalous objects in order to aid in the containment or neutralization of SCP-001. Addendum? Oh, yeah, I can say this one. 001. For further information, direct containment efforts for SCP-001, refer to attached file.
I just wanted to note the footnotes. SCP-001 is referred to as the Black Moon. Note that other designations do exist, including the Pale Emperor, the Pit, and the Finale. And on things disappearing in their entirety 4 seconds later, analysis confirms that no trace of the victim remains following this. See document 001-1 for full analysis on known obliteration.
Alright, are we going on to the second one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I can just read the The little like the box. Does the black moon howl? Not without blood. And then you want to read this one?
Sure. Item number SCP-001. Cage. Object class Thaumiel. Special containment procedures. As agreed upon during the formation of the current Foundation structure and mission statement, SCP-001 Cage is to be confined to Site-01 at all times. Security personnel are to constantly accompany SCP-001 Cage to ensure this agreement is honored and are authorized to incapacitate SCP-001 Cage via the use of tranquilizers in the event that he attempts to leave. All research by SCP-001 Cage on SCP-001 is to be conducted on Level 4 of Site-01, working with a group of personally chosen research staff. Any outside communication required for this research is to be performed either remotely or through an intermediary. These containment procedures are currently subject to change pending the completion of the singular conceptual bunker. Description: SCP-001 Cage is a human male appearing to be in his late 30s, referred to in the majority of official Foundation records as the Administrator. In actuality, the specific age of SCP-001 Cage is unknown, but is believed to be significantly longer than the majority of known human civilizations. During his time in containment, SCP-001 Cage has shown no signs of aging beyond his original appearance. No known means of permanently injuring or incapacitating SCP-001 Cage exist, as all wounds inflicted to his body will be reversed following a period of exactly 4 seconds, regardless of severity. Tranquilizers have proven to be effective to a limited degree, as SCP-001 Cage will remain unconscious for a short time after the tranquilizer leaves the system. When questioned regarding his immortality and invincibility, SCP-001 Cage is claimed as a result of being designated as the Counterbalance, an entity charged with pursuing SCP-001. According to SCP-001 Cage, the designation of the Counterbalance is one that can be transferred to another, but he has refused to transfer it to another member of Foundation personnel to prove this. SCP-001 Cage is the original founder of the SCP Foundation, having gathered the first O5 Council and provided information on a number of anomalous items gathered over the course of his pre-Foundation lifespan. In exchange for submitting to containment himself and providing the previously mentioned intelligence, SCP-001 Cage was provided with the resources required to research SCP-001 and methods of containing or neutralizing. Addendum 001 Cage-1 Interview on. Since the original formation of the Foundation in the year 1000 blank, SCP-001 Cage has been subject to periodic interviews with members of the O5 Council in order to ascertain both his current mental state and the effectiveness of research into SCP-001. The following is the latest such interview. A full archive is available on the Site-01 database. Okay, do you want to read 053 and I'll be Cage?
Yeah, we can do that. Okay, begin log. This is me. 053. We're recording. Are you ready to begin?
Gosh, that's fantastic! I've really taken a liking to recording equipment recently, did you know? It's so convenient.
Pause. We need to begin as always. The memory test.
Are you new?
I'm sorry?
I don't think I've seen you before. Are you new?
I've been in my current position for 30 years now.
So you are new then. Sorry, the memory test. Go ahead.
053 unfolds a sheet of paper and begins reading from it. Do you recall when you were born?
Before names.
Before. Can you expand on that, please?
You need names when there's a risk of confusing people. When I was born, there weren't enough people for that to be of a concern.
I see. And do you recall how you obtained your current anomalous properties?
The counterbalance?
If that's what you like to call it. Pause.
We had a village on the edge of the sea. Just tents and caves. But it was a village for those times. I was the boy then. The closest thing to a name was what you were, because there was only one of you in the whole world. One day, someone new came. The hermit. He looked like he'd never eaten a day in his life, like a skeleton, but he never died. Came to the center of our village, sat on a stone, and waited. And a few days later, the black moon howled.
SCP-001?
The black moon. The youngest hunter was just walking to his cave. Then he was gone. Pitch black statue, mid-stride, 4 seconds, then nothing. Then the hermit turned to me, asked me what I'd seen. I told him. He told me about the Black Moon. He told me everything he'd managed to learn over the course of his immortal life. It took him about 4 minutes.
He spoke quickly?
No, he just didn't know much. He'd lived 1,000 years. And then he gave it to me. He turned into dust, and I started walking. Is that enough? Can we move on?
Yes, that's enough.
I see. What else is there?
You've cleared the memory test. So how are things going in regards to 001 now?
Slow, but that's no surprise. It's been slow from the beginning. Dr. Moto has a proposal we're all very excited about, though. I've always staked my hopes on the SCB.
Interesting. Could you go into those a bit more?
I've sent the project proposals, and they've both been approved. That will be sufficient.
Even so, I'd prefer to discuss them with you now.
You think I'm full of shit, don't you?
Excuse me?
You think one of 3 things. That I'm lying, that I'm delusional, or that I'm fighting a pointless battle. From your eyes, I'd say it's one of the first 2. Probably the first.
I assure you, I have the utmost respect.
For your position and contribution. Yes, thank you very much. But I prefer if you didn't lie about your personal feelings. Demeaning to both of us.
You seem to be speaking as though you know my personal feelings.
Yes, that's right.
You're not a telepath. You confirmed that decades ago.
No, I'm not. Your predecessors did fine work. SCP-001, Cage leads forward. People like to think that every single person is unique. But the thing is, and this is just my personal opinion, so please don't take it as fact, there are only a limited number of people, 100 or so, and they just happen over and over with minor variations between them. A bit of a temper, a predilection for flowers, fear of wasps. All of it is window dressing for the same few archetypes.
That's...
And once you've been around as long as I have, you find it very easy to recognize them. So, again, please don't lie to me. I've heard it all before.
I think you've got the wrong idea about me. I do have doubts. But as I said, I have the utmost respect for you. But if, as you say, SCP-001 is an entity that can only be stopped by being observed, that can never be observed, it seems the efforts expended is pointless.
Have you read Moby Dick yet?
Yet?
It's a new book from a Mr. Melville. I've really identified with it. There's this character in it, Ahab, who has a scuffle with a whale. Ends poorly for him.
It was my impression that the book is about how Ahab's pursuit of revenge against nature was doomed to fail from the start.
Really? That wasn't my impression.
Well, what was yours then?
That Ahab didn't try hard enough.
I think the next one is like, okay, that's just like the second one, right?
Yeah. You wanna get that addendum?
Oh yeah, Addendum 001 Cage 2. Following this interview, SCP-001 Cage has provided further information on Dr. Moto's proposal regarding containment of SCP-001 under the purview of Project Orsmadas, right? Updated records of...
Ormazdes, maybe?
Ormaz? Yeah, Ormazdes. Updated records of Dr. Moto's containment efforts are available in the attached file. And I think, yeah, it continues on June 2nd. Oh, okay, there's like a lot of them. You want to keep going on this one, or read a different one?
If you want to change, we can change. I'm totally fine with continuing on. It gets interesting. It develops over time.
Okay.
But it is your stream, so I will do whatever course of action you wish.
Alright. Yeah, we can read. We can just read this one. Okay. So I read. Do you want me to read like the whole description for this one?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to read the description, I guess I could read the addendum because it looks like there's not any dialogue in this page.
Ah, okay. Okay. Right. The little excerpt is does the black moon howl only at the blind? Item SCP-001 key. Object class is Dormio? What is it again?
I'm actually not certain if it's Tomiel or Thaumiel. I'm not
Okay.
certain if the H is.
Now some of the words are a little bit hard to pronounce, so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I assume that word actually comes from another language as well. So I'm not 100% certain on the pronunciation.
Okay, that's okay. Um, so special containment procedures. Materials used for the creation of SCP-001 key instances are to be stored in a secure warehouse at Site 1. Any record of the concept used to link an instance of SCP-001 key to SCP-001 is to be kept only on the secure Site 1 database. And static therapy is to be used to prevent knowledge of said concepts from leaving Site 1. Any non-viable SCP-001 key instances created as part of the project are to be stored in containment for further study that may benefit SCP-001 research efforts. Once the capabilities of SCP-001 key instances have been further ascertained, containment of them in locations outside Site 1 is approved. In order to maintain potential containment of SCP-001, however, all instances of SCP-001 key must remain under observation at all times. All creation of new SCP-001 key instances and research of existing SCP-001 key instances must be approved by Dr. Modo. Description: SCP-001 key is the collective destination for a series of inanimate objects artificially linked to SCP-001 using conceptual engineering. Although the specific behavior of each SCP-001 key instance differs, the consistent characteristics of a successful SCP-001 key instance are an ability to act while under observation, a hostility towards conscious life, the capacity to end conscious life if given the opportunity. All instances of SCP-001 key were created in the hopes that, by conceptually linking to SCP-001, observation of SCP-001 key would be equal to observation of SCP-001, thus resulting in a halt to obliterations.
Addendum 001 Key-1 Instance Log. The following is a record of instances created as part of the SCP-001 Key project. Note that only successful instances of SCP-001 Key have been recorded. A full list of all instances produced is available from the Site-01 archives. Instance SCP-001 Key-03. Instance took the form of a humanoid statue which, when unobserved, appeared behind the nearest individual in a threatening posture. Comments? Subject judged only as a partial success. It's unclear whether its behavior is due to actual hostility or simple playfulness. Relocated. Dr. Moto. Instance SCP-001 Key-07. Information: Instance took the form of a humanoid statue which, when observed, attempts to snap the neck of the nearest individual. Comments? Success! Subject demonstrates all three properties required for a viable SCP-001 key instance, and the minor scale of its attack makes it easily manageable. Although we must continue producing instances for the greatest risk of success, this is a very good sign. Dr. Moto. Instance SCP-001 Key-12. Information: Instance took the form of a spherical sculpture floating 1 meter in the air. Immediately after becoming unobserved for a period of 0.2 seconds, SCP-001 Key-12 violently exploded, resulting in the deaths of attending personnel. Comments? Although the instance was a success in terms of demonstrating the required characteristics, it was an unequivocal failure in the fact that it immediately self-terminated. The deaths are a tragedy too, but as long as we can achieve our goal, the lives we will save will be more than equal. Dr. Moto. SCP-001 Key-13. Information: Instance took the form of a sculpture of a human head 3 meters in height and 2 meters in width. When unobserved, SCP-001 Key-13 immediately breached containment by ramming through the nearest wall at extremely high speeds and proceeding to attempt an escape from Site-01. Instance was recontained after breaching the outer wall of Site-01 and attempting to flee across the desert. Comments? Unclear whether this instance demonstrated the required characteristics. While the escape resulted in the deaths of 19 personnel, God rest their souls, it's unclear whether this was intentional or simply collateral damage. All the same, I've ordered this one terminated due to the difficulty of containment. Dr. Moto. Instance SCP-001, Key 14. Instance took the form of a complex of intersecting stalagmites and stalactites, with a series of coral-like growths erupting from the central mass. When unobserved from 0.2 seconds, no activity was immediately observed. However, later investigation revealed that, during those 0.2 seconds, 142 civilians staying in that hotel in Redacted, which is the closest human settlement to Site-01, were killed via spontaneous and simultaneous human combustion. Comments? An unacceptable loss of life and breach of secrecy. I'm told anomalous means had to be used to prevent the collapse of the veil in this case. I've ordered an immediate halt to production of SCP-001 key instances. If the principles behind the project hold, observation of all the extant instances we've produced so far should be sufficient to prevent SCP-001 from acting. At any rate, there have been no obliterations recorded since the project began. Dr. Moto. Addendum 001 Key 02. Incident 001 Key 01. On January 29th, 1993, the first observed double obliteration event caused by SCP-001 was recorded in Rome, Italy, when two tourists spontaneously being erased. It was later confirmed that, at the time of this event, all extant instances of SCP-001 Key were being observed. Several hours following the news of this event, Dr. Moto left the following note in his office. We've been looking at nothing. I'm sorry, Administrator. I failed you, sir. Dr. Moto's body was later found in the temporary containment chamber of an SCP-001 Key instance, having entered under the guise of performing vital research using his project head authorization. Cause of death confirmed as a broken neck. The project was discontinued, and all remaining SCP-001 Key instances were moved to Site-19 in 1993. Addendum 001 Key 03, Reallocation of Resources. Following the cancellation of the SCP-001 Key project, all remaining resources reallocated to the construction and launch of an experimental extraplanetary observation module. For more information on this project, consult the attached file. So that SCP-001 Key that snapped his neck is definitely referring to SCP-173.
Oh, wow.
Which, did you know, that's the first SCP that was written?
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah. So, SCP got its start by an anonymous poster, as they all are on 4chan, just posting what's more or less pretty close to what you'll see SCP-173 being as it is now. It even had the image that it had on the site for a long time, although it's changed now for reasons I won't get into. But yeah, that was the first one that was posted. It was just posted out of the blue, completely anonymously, and people were like really intrigued by the concept of this leaked document from either like some paramilitary or special science organization or government organization on this weird object that they're trying to contain and keep from the public. And other people interested and inspired by it also started posting their own takes on it. And it's actually surprising how many I've gone and looked at that original post, and it's surprising how many things were in it that are sort of standard in SCP. I figured it would look kind of rough and stuff, but no, it even like introduces like item class Euclid,
Oh,
for
wow.
example. Yeah, and so a bunch of other anonymous posters posted their own takes, and eventually from there they were like, I think this could really be a thing, and I want to post like more of it, but I don't want it to get lost on this forum site. Let's get together and make our own site for this. And so then 3 people in particular, I think, got together to make the site. One was the Jack Bright user. I don't know what their real name is or whatever, but one was Bright and one was, I think, Francis something, and then somebody else, I forget. And I don't know if they ever figured out who it was that posted the 173 originally. I think somebody spoke up eventually and said that they were the one, but I don't know if like they were ever certain. I mean, it's hard to be certain because all the posts on
Hmm.
4chan are anonymous, so like literally nobody can prove
Yeah,
that that's
sure.
them. But yeah, that's how it got started. It's really cool.
Wow, it's just crazy that it's just like someone's just like, hey, I'm just gonna write this piece of like, you know, excuse me, like something, right? They're like, this would be fun to put on here, and then it just inspired like a bunch of other people. It's like, hey, I'm gonna make mine up too, and then now like, what is like the, like, there's so many of them. Like, what's the
We're on
highest?
series 8 right now, which is SCP 7000 to 7999.
Wow.
Yeah, and all the by the way, all of the um so every time they release a new series, they have a contest to see who's going to get the 000 slot for that series.
Oh.
Um and they've done it since at least since SCP like the 4000 through 4099 series. I know for sure. I don't know if they held the contest for the other series. But so that means that SCP 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000, 6000, 7000, at least from 4000 to 7000 were all like picked via like contest,
Oh.
usually based around a given theme. And also, um, uh, all of those SCPs tend to reference each other. SCP 1000 is basically about Bigfoot, but it's not just one Bigfoot. It's like they're a whole like race, like an offshoot of proto humans that evolved differently, and they're hanging out in some part of the world, and they're actually a fairly advanced civilization. And the concern with them is if they decide they want the world back because they've got advanced technology, and they'd be a little bit hard to fight. SCP 2000 doesn't actually reference 1000. It's The title of it is Deus Ex Machina, and it's basically like this really complicated machine that the Foundation has made in the event of an XK or other end of the world kind of scenario, where they could basically replicate a bunch of humans and give them like memories as if life was normal, and all of them like work to try to restore the world to the way it was. And then when everything's ready, then the Foundation like uses a mass amnestic like mass forget your experiences of rebuilding the world, and also definitely remember your fake experiences of the world totally being fine and that end of the world scenario never happening. um, and SCP 3000 is like a giant freaking monster that lives at the bottom of an ocean, and it's one of the sources that they get the chemicals for that makes people forget stuff, like the amnestics.
Okay.
SCP 4000 is, well, I don't have to go through them all. But yeah, that's how it is.
Oh. Oh, sorry. Yeah. My cousin Leah just came into the the chat, and also their friend as well. But yes. Hello, hello everyone. We're still like reading some. We're reading a lot of just SCPs. But it's actually really interesting because I don't know too much about it, and Doc is just kind of like explaining a lot about it. Actually, I was gonna say like Doc, like how many like SCPs have you read? Just counting.
Um, so I have read every SCP-001, and then I read through 002 to something in the high 2000s. I read all of those. And then I started just hitting random SCP and reading and clicking on branch links and stuff. And at some point, I'll probably resume from somewhere around the 2000s to try to read the rest of them in order, right? Again.
It's okay. Yeah, it's a lot. I think the ones that you did show me, I did read it, and just like what I like about it too is like I mentioned before, like off before stream, is that they like I think I've seen like a couple of like people making short films of some of them, which is like really interesting. And then like
Yeah, and
also
they're really good
yeah, I've
too.
seen I can't remember which one it was, but I was just like, wow, look at that like good quality and the good acting too. But then there's also games as well, which is like a good I think in my opinion a good way of like getting introduced to like just the world of it. Because a lot of people, right? A lot of people don't really know much about SCP Foundation. I think on YouTube there might be some videos that people also make that just kind of explains each individual one. If you ever watched those ones, um,
Yeah, I have. They're cool.
yeah, it's just for me at least, it's a little bit easier to kind of, I guess, understand it. I do like reading like the way it's structured, right, as like documents. But for me, because I have small brain, I tend to watch like videos and stuff just to kind of understand a little bit more about them. Also, thank you for the sketch,
Yeah,
Conrad. Oh, go ahead.
yeah. Sometimes I have to go into like the discussion page on an SCP because I've read it and I was like, there's some detail that I'm freaking missing. I need the spoilers for this one. I need the explanation. Give me the cliff notes for what the hell just happened.
Yeah, but it's still really interesting though, and it's like continuing too. It's I don't know. I don't think it's ever going to end.
Yeah, who knows? At some point you'd think they'd have written them all, and and there are a number of SCPs I think that are similar to other SCPs, but to be honest, I think it's quite fair to even have those ones that are similar, just to like have people get a chance to like um you know tell their own take, and it's just
Hmm.
fun to get to write, and I think it's great that the writing experience is encouraged. Um and it's great how creative people can be in format screws. I think this site is amazing for the fact that it encourages you to be able to write, not in like the way your school might teach you, which is you have to write it like your standard book they might hand you to read. You could write it in whatever crazy format you want, and that's
Yeah,
awesome. I think that's excellent, and is a really wonderful way of letting people tell stories and stuff.
yeah, for sure. Do you want to read like any other ones? We got like a little bit more time.
Do let's see. Okay, if you want to read another one, let's see. Oh, do you want to read? Do you want to read a um? Do you want to read a wholesome, possibly sad one, or a funny one, or a funny/scary one?
Let's do a funny slash scary one to keep with the
Okay,
spooky.
then we will do. Uh, where is the what I got it. I got it here somewhere.
It's okay.
uh, did I close it? Do I have to reopen it? Okay, it's fine. I know what number it was. Um, let's see. Our Discord. Misuki. Uh, it was. It was. I'm pretty sure. Copy one. I think it was 1342. Let me see. No, it wasn't. 16. Oops. Was it 1689?
Ah, I like that. Oh,
It's
is
it's
it
surely 1762. No,
1762?
no, it's not.
Oh,
It's 1689. That's what it's gotta be. It's 1689, surely.
Is it the potatoes one?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's 1689, yeah. Do you want to read the potatoes one or no? Do you want me to find a different one?
We can. Yeah, we can read the potatoes one. That could be the way that we can end it with that one.
I love the potatoes one. Do you want to read the special containment procedures and I do the exploration log, or do you want me to read the procedures and you the exploration log, or do you want to read like the whole thing?
Oh man, it's a lot. I'll read the exploration log.
Okay, cool. Then I will go ahead and get started with the procedures. Item number SCP-1689. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-1689 is currently under restricted access in area medium-sized artifact storage compartment. SCP-1689 is to be stored tied shut with its mouth facing upwards at all times. Access is limited to level 3 personnel with the exception of site cooking staff. Exploratory access to SCP-1689-A requires approval from a level 4 personnel. All expeditions must be documented with a complete manifest of equipment and staff to enter. Enzymatic Compound 13 has been developed to aid in exploration of SCP-1689-A. Proposals to establish a mobile site in SCP-1689-A are currently under review. SCP-1689 is a burlap bag of potatoes. In its stable state, SCP-1689 weighs between 40 and 50 kilograms and contains approximately 200 common agricultural potatoes, tubers of Solanum tuberosum. SCP-1689 is made of brown, roughly woven jute. The interior of SCP-1689 is vastly larger than its exterior and is designated SCP-1689-A. SCP-1689-A is a large, extra-dimensional space of undetermined volume, measured to be at least 10,000 cubic meters, but believed to be much greater, completely filled with potatoes. Exploration of SCP-1689 is largely incomplete due to the high degree of obstruction. For further information, please see Addendum 2, Exploration Log 1689-I. When portions of 1689-A are empty, nearby potatoes experience an abnormal form of growth characterized by tumor-like bulges emerging and eventually splitting into fully sized independent potatoes. The rate of growth is roughly exponential with a doubling period of approximately 2 hours. This effect also applies to normal potatoes introduced to 1689, as well as similar edible tubers or roots such as yams and sweet potatoes, although none have been found to occur within 1689 natural. Addendum 1689-1, SCP-1689 was recovered from Krysovo, a small village of approximately 200 people in northern Siberia. A Russian official reported on the 2nd of June 21X that Krysovo had made no outside contact in 4 decades and had no surrounding farmland. The reports were confiscated and investigated by the Foundation, at which point it was discovered that the village had been using SCP-1689 as its sole food source for well over a century. As a result, the villagers were suffering from extreme calcium and iron deficiencies. No one in the village was able to recall how they came into possession of SCP-1689, only that it had been there since before the Reds, and that it was a gift for working hard. SCP-1689 was subsequently transported to its current location. Addendum 1689-2. Currently, only one fully equipped expedition in an SCP-1689-A has taken place. Authorized personnel may view the mission log of Captain Cameron Wells, Exploration Log 1689-I.
Alright.
I'll go ahead and read opening statement because it's not by Captain Wells, and then the rest is by Captain Wells. So is opening statement. Exploratory mission 1689-I was scheduled for the 8th of August 21X with an exploration team of 4 led by Captain Cameron Wells. The team was informed of their upcoming assignment on the 2nd of August 21X. For more information, see document mission 1689-I equipment manifest.
Right. Mission log. Captain Wells, day 6. It told me today I was going to be leading Frederick, Carlin, and Xander into a sack of potatoes. Okay. Apparently it's bigger on the inside, or it's a pocket dimension, or it's a portal or something. Somewhere full of potatoes. At this point, nothing surprises me. Oh, and this is supposed to be an official log, so I'm supposed to call them agents Merrill, Ozels, and Peterson, but no one checks these, so I effing won't. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 1. They gave us the rest of our gear and got us ready for tomorrow. The plan is to be in there by noon. Labs produced this really cool liquid for us to use. It's some kind of acid or enzyme that resolves the potatoes into a starchy paste. It mostly drains away, but then some of it sort of hardens to make this nice tunnel sealing. It's actually scary how fast it works. And we have to wear skin protection so it doesn't get on us. The spray nozzles we can carve our way straight into potatoes. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 0. It's pleasant to find that they had already cleared out a small room on the other side of SCP-1689, made of plywood. They were certainly weird, crawling into a bag and coming out in a totally different room. But again, nothing surprises me. We actually didn't see any potatoes right away. Then we opened up the excavation door and yep, wall of potatoes. Potatoes above, in, front, and below. We decided to cut a roughly 2 by 2 meter tunnel straight forward. Compasses don't work here, but there isn't a very good chance of getting lost because we can always find a way back from the radio signal. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 1. Excavating slow work. We can clear about 30 meters an hour. That sounds glacial, but it's 120 cubic meters of potato, and that's a kilometer in 2 days if you make good effort. And it isn't that hard. 2 of us spray, and 2 of us shovel away the goop. Every 100 meters or so, we put up some support beams. Whoever invented this enzyme is a genius. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 2. God, I hate the odor of this stuff. I actually like the smell of potatoes, but because of the enzyme, this place smells like vomit. I'm sick of it already. F. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 5. We accidentally spilled some enzyme on the ground today. Turns out we were only like a meter off this concrete floor. Command's really surprised. This is the first thing other than potatoes they found. Cool. We decided to just start going on the floor. Not too inconvenient. It's nice to have solid footing. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 6. Did you know that the word spud comes from digging with a spade to make the hole you plant them in? Colin did, and she made sure we all did too. And then she repeated the word spud to herself all day while we were excavating. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 9. This is hardly even agent work. Why don't they have D-Class doing this? Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 11. Tomorrow we're on our own. It's becoming too inefficient to resupply us every few days. The command's providing us with 2 months of MREs and tanks of more than enough enzyme to last that long. If we still haven't found anything after that, they say, then the mission will be abandoned. Obviously, we'll still have radio contact. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 12. It's nice being alone with the team. At night, it's almost like camping. Yeah, camping in a weird cavern, made of spuds. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 16. Out of the blue, something interesting happened. We found a wall today. It's made of the same material as the floor. The base floor, not the starch stuff. Concrete. It runs at an angle 20 degrees to our tunnel's perpendicular. The man told us to follow it, as it's not like there's anything else interesting going on. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 19. So, concrete floors and concrete walls. Today Frederick got thinking, and sure enough, concrete ceiling. This whole time it's been about 3 meters above us, which means that the whole time we've been inside a building, a huge building. If you can map it out, we can probably find the exit and discover where in the world this potato hell is. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 28. Xander says it's potato. What the? How have I not heard him say it until now? It's been 4 weeks, surrounded by potatoes, and he hasn't said a word until now. He's the first person I've met who actually says it like that. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 36. It's been longer since we started following the wall than from the wall to the start. Xander thinks it isn't going anywhere, but Frederick wanted to press on. Command deferred to me, and well, I don't want the last month to have been pointless. We'll go for another 3 kilometers at least. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 38. They decided to blow an effing hole in the wall. Carolyn had charges in her pack, God knows why. So why not? The walls wasn't going anywhere. We all stood clear and blasted. It took a long time to clear all the mashed potatoes away, but we sure enough created a 3-meter hole. Guess what was on the other side? Potatoes. Mission log, Captain Wells, Day 39. We started excavating through the hole we made, and turns out it actually is different. Outside. It definitely is outside. The ground is dirt, and extremely dead grass. That means this thing isn't anywhere on Earth. I guess the building was some kind of gigantic warehouse. We've been hearing these sort of faint rumbles ever since we blew the charges. Dan is starting to go woolly about it, but as far as we can tell, nothing's happened. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 43. How high up do these potatoes go? If we're outside, then there's no vertical clearance. Does it go all the way up to the atmosphere? Is this whole universe filled with potatoes? It's so weird thinking we're outside. It doesn't feel any different from being inside the building. It's like we're on the ground. Well, I guess we are. It's just the ground is made of potatoes. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 44. You found an actual tree. A dead one, surrounded by potatoes, but a tree rooted in the ground nonetheless. We have to be careful about it, because the enzyme chews it up, but we managed to fully uncover it. The branches were sort of weird, bending at these perfect 30-degree angles. But overall, it looked pretty. It looked pretty normal. The lab had me collect a bark sample. It totally made the outside fact real. What is this place? Mission log, Captain Wells, day 48. Xander was worried about the rumbles we've been hearing, so he turned back to look. Turns out, about 100 meters of our tunnel was caved in. Command didn't know it either. They said they'd start digging us out from the other side, and that was my choice if I wanted to keep excavating. Frederick and Carlin went to continue, so continue we did, listening to Xander complain. I didn't sign up for this poop, I mean. Yeah, no poop. The Foundation didn't exactly know you were going into the realm of potatoes when they recruited you. It's not the kind of thing you put in the fine print, just in case. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 51. You keep finding some weird poo. Frederick uncovered this twisted bicycle and got super psyched about it. I knew there had to be humans here before because of the building, but it didn't really occur to me until I saw the bicycle. Jesus. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 55. F. Frick, I'm an alpha captain. There was another big rumble today, a huge cave-in. We nearly got crushed, but somehow we all managed to take safe refuge under the tree branches. This time, we lost contact with command. We can still detect some faint radio transmissions, but it's too staticky for correspondence. Obviously, I made a call to turn back, but we have no idea how bad it is. It could take weeks to get out. Frick, I should have turned back. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 62. Frederick told us today that we should have brought an Irishman. I told him that he was an a-hole. He was chuckling about it all day long. What an absolute prick. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 65. Ran out of food rations today. Xander freaked out and started saying we were going to starve, until I told him he was a friggin' idiot. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 67. We should have brought a goddamn spice kit. Garland actually had cooking equipment in her pack. God knows why. So we can prepare the potatoes in a couple of different ways, but it's still potatoes. My taste buds are starting to shut down. This is going to take forever. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 68. It's too hard to clear out the original tunnels we made. It'd be quicker to just cut straight to the bag anyways. Tomorrow, I'll tell my team to just start carving a new tunnel. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 69. Frick, we ran out of enzyme today. Sure, I noticed the supply dwindling, but it doesn't really work to ration it, so we just kept using it like normal, and now we're out. Okay, so the good news is that we were inside the building when it happened. That means we can shove our way out, as there is a ceiling. It's 5 meters from top to bottom, and I can't imagine we could take a tunnel any nearer than 1.5 meters. It's going to be slow, but we should get there. The real digging problem is space. Where are we going to dump the potatoes? The best we can do is about 5 meters behind us, so we have a little bubble of space that we just sort of move through the building. This is going to take a long time, but I'm not sure what will run out of first. Food is covered, and they've actually got enough water in them. The oxygen is starting to get stale though. I don't know how much is going to fit in the cracks between the potatoes. I don't even know what to do for morale. I told everybody command is probably digging from the other side and is going to find us, but they're all depressed. This was supposed to be a 65-day mission, max. Frederick made a joke about the word tuber. I don't remember exactly what. It was stupid anyways. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 70. Maybe it's because we were just melting them, but there's something none of us noticed before. Potatoes are real ugly looking. They got these bulges which sort of wiggle and grow slowly. Absolutely disgusting. And they're our only meal. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 71. I hate the smell of potatoes. I'd have to vomit back, just for the smell. Frick. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 72. It's freaking smaller. Above us space is smaller, and it's because of more freaking potatoes. Our area wasn't precisely dimensioned or anything, but Carlin was the first to mention it when he woke up. And then suddenly, it's obvious to everyone. The whole area has shrunk a good 10 cubic meters. What the frick? Mission log, Captain Wells, day 73. I was paying attention today. Those ugly bulges? They actually get big fast. And when they get to be the size of a potato, they split off. That's where all of the potatoes are coming from. Our area got even smaller today. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 74. We're running out of space and time. There's barely enough room to work anymore. We're knocking elbows and shoulders while we shove. And then he goes, freaking taters, freaking spuds, freaking yams, freaking tubers, freaking roots. I swear they'll kill me while I'm sleeping and I'll have a potato freaking stuffed down my throat. Mission log, Captain Wells, day 75. All day long, Xander's whining. Shut the frick up, I hate all the dark too. We all hate the dark, and the yellow lamps with the brown potatoes and the tasteless food, we all hate it, okay? Okay? It's not like I can yell at the team. I keep them all going. I'm the captain. Captain Wells. Potato Commander. I keep it together. I meant it all in these freaking logs. Mission log. Captain Wells, day 76. I can't breathe. I can't freaking breathe and there's no room to shovel. Oh yeah. Frick. Mission log. Captain Wells, day 78. I feel like I'm breathing inside someone else's lungs. It was already exhaled, so there's nothing but carbon dioxide. No one can even speak while we're working. We're dead within the week. Death by potatoes. And then...
Concluding statement?
Go ahead.
Do you want to read that?
No, you can go.
A concluding statement. On 3rd of November, 21X, mission Captain Wells and Agents Ozels, Merrill, and Peterson connected with the secondary excavation team. Although they were suffering from oxygen deficiency and in a deteriorated mental state, all team members fully recovered within 3 weeks. Captain Wells declined to write a post-mission summary.
I'm surprised they actually survived.
So, I have an interesting fact about that one.
Okay.
One day, probably like the second or third time I reread that one, because I love it so much. It's funny as hell, so I reread it occasionally. I went through the discussion, and I read all the comments, and I learned that actually the first form of this exploration log, the author had it end where I think it either like ends without that concluding statement to where it's ambiguous as to whether they survive or not, but pretty heavily implies that they die. And people in the discussion just kind of were like, I mean, maybe consider having them live. And the author's like, yeah, I think I will. And I'm glad. I think it's better with them living, because it's a really funny SCP, and I think if they all died at the end, it would be a real downer. But the fact that they live at the end, I think, makes it continue to be funny and not be like, oof.
Yeah. I feel, especially, I mean, I forgot what I was gonna say. Potatoes are good, yes, but I don't know if you want to be surrounded by it and eating it for days on end and digging it through it. It's just like, that's just like the worst way to go.
Yeah.
But that one's pretty funny. I like it. Also, yes, Potato Commander. He's just going crazy at that point.
I really love the opening part of it too, where he just goes, they told me today I was going to be leading my team into a sack of potatoes. Okay.
I guess so, sure. I'm good with this. This is what I signed up for.
It's just like, yeah, it's like, this should sound weird as hell to me, but I've been in the Foundation. It also just doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he's just like, I guess, yeah. This is normal. Alright, I think we are actually about to... Yeah, we're about to be reaching, like, the end of the stream. I was gonna go for just about 2 hours. But yeah, it was really fun, like, learning about SCPs with you, Doc.
I'm glad. I had a lot of fun reading them too. If you ever want to read SCPs again, I would be
Yeah.
totally down for it, or to do anything.
Yeah, we gotta play like more games together too.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I think what was it? We played what was it again? It was like the visual like cleanup.
Yeah, Viscera cleanup detail.
That one is I didn't realize it'd be really super fun.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is surprisingly like you'd think like, oh well, it's just a game where you're janitor simulator. Surely that wouldn't be fun, but no, they make it pretty goofy and pretty funny.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think I was gonna say but yeah, thanks again everyone for coming. Let me have stop the music for stop the music. Stop the raining sounds. Although I do enjoy it, it's really nice. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming for my stream. And oh right. Hold on, let me put this on here. I think it'll work. Please follow Doc. It's been a while actually. When's the last time that you streamed, Doc?
I don't remember. I will start again sometime. I totally will. There's stuff I want to play, but I definitely need to fix my sleep schedule for sure.
Oh, no worries.
3 naps and no actual sleeping a day is not the best.
I think at most for me, like when I take naps, it's usually like maybe once or twice a day. But like I mentioned before stream, like I've been sleeping like, regular times and then waking up really early. And that messes up my schedule because I work overnight. So I should be sleeping like during the day or like staying up like really late and then going to sleep.
12-hour work shifts are rough, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I cannot imagine that.
I know like last weekend we had I had to pretty much like run like manually for like bringing our products around, and my legs were they
oh my
hurt
god,
so bad.
wait, you had to like I know you operate like heavy machinery. I don't really know what all that's like, but manually you mean like so some of the machines weren't like doing automatic processes, so like you had to manually go, I don't know, like pull levers and stuff and run around and like kind of baby the machines. Is that then
It's more like basically our company has like these things, or I guess like it's like right like wafers or like little disc things that are inside boxes, and we basically have to transport the boxes to like different areas. And my area is kind of like it's the old area, so it's kind of like shoved like far away from the other areas, so we have to transport the products in like a cart, just like a regular like plastic cart, and then we gotta run all the way to the next area to bring it, and then like just like back and forth for like maybe more than like 6 hours.
damn, you got to drive them all the way to the deep.
Not like super far, but it can, if there's a lot that you have to go, if you have to do it multiple times, yeah, my legs hurt.
So driving around in the car, do you get to like listen to your own music? I know before you've talked about how people have on radio channels, and I don't think you control it, and sometimes their music choices are a little unfortunate. Do you at least get to like listen to your own music when you're driving that car around?
It's basically you're not supposed to be wearing like earbuds in while you're doing it. I know people
That's
do.
lame.
I know, so I'm not even wearing like any earbuds. I'm just listening to whatever's in the hallway when I'm running, and it's usually whatever default music that they want.
Unfortunate. So since you won't even break the earbuds rule, I'm going to assume that you haven't raced anybody else in the cars.
Oh no, you're basically just running by yourself. So you're not really it's like people are supposed to take turns, but it's like one person supposed to take only 3 hours, but if there's not enough people, it's like it's you that you have to do it for about 6 hours.
Mom said it's my turn to drive the boxes around.
I mean, it's okay because it gives me a chance to like get out of my like fab, right? So I'm kind of like just out in the hallways, so I don't super mind it, but my legs hurt so bad. uh,
Oh wait, is it a cart or a
yeah.
car?
Oh,
Like
it's a
pushing
cart. A cart. It's a
Oh, that's even worse.
yeah.
I thought it was a car, like a
I wish I
forklift or
could
something.
drive
You got
in
to
it.
drive around.
It'd make it a lot easier, but no.
You're probably wondering what I was on about with kart races.
I was saying driving. Oh, I guess if I wanted to sit on.
then again, you could race on carts. You just have one person climb on top of the cart and then have somebody else push it around. In high school, in my chess club, we did chair races where one person would push a chair and somebody else would be sitting in the chair, and we pushed them down the hallway because our chess club was not a normal chess club.
Oh.
We did a lot of shenanigans.
I think I saw some people doing that in my like high school too, back in the day. It's just something that just if you're in the school, you're gonna end up doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, yes, okay. I think we should end the stream. We can raid someone if you'd like. If
Yeah. Do you want me to suggest somebody?
yeah,
Or do
sure.
you have somebody? Okay.
Yeah.
Did
Oh,
you
go ahead.
wanna-
Oh no,
did you wanna
sorry.
pick somebody?
No, you can suggest.
What if you and Doc played the letter on stream? Oh, do you mean that spooky one?
Oh yeah, my sister was telling me about that one.
I played it years ago. I didn't finish it. It was really good. Don't take anything from the fact I didn't finish it. I don't finish a lot of games, even games that I super freaking love. It's just because, like, I don't know. After a certain point, there becomes a greater and greater risk of me getting like distracted or something. But no, it was super cool. It's great. I think I actually played it on Weenie Baby mode. Like, there's a scary moment, and you can like play through it, or you can like let the game. I think I played it on Weenie Baby mode.
I didn't know there's a Weenie Baby mode.
I'm scared. Yeah, that's cool. I thought there was voice acting in it. Was there not?
I think there is.
There is. Oh, okay. I don't. If there is voice acting, I don't know. It's something we could co-op, but we could still like comment on it, I suppose. And I suppose alternatively, you could probably turn off the voices if Mitsuki, if you wanted to have it where you and I are reading the characters. That would be fun.
Oh yeah, I could do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember what Weenie Baby mode was in that game because it was literal years ago, but it had something to do with I don't know. Oh, maybe it was like when the monster comes, you have to do a thing. And I turned on Weenie Baby mode where you don't have to do a thing. So like the monster comes and it's spooky and creepy and scary, but you automatically escape from it. Yeah,
Oh, so you actually like okay, you don't die then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it says full English. Voice acting is optional. Oh, okay. I think I remember like seeing someone play it like a long time ago, like a little bit, but no, I didn't go too far into the game when I was playing. I mean, when I was watching someone play it. But yeah, that's something that we can look into. Oh, I better get it now though. I'm seeing there's a sale. It's like its original price is 20, but it went down to 6.
Speaking of games, there's a recent SCP game that's out. That's like Archive something or other, and it's actually real cool. It's different from other SCP games. It covers different SCPs, and it has like different little game formats to explain them, and it's actually done in a really interesting way. And I think it is a really cool take on introducing you to the SCP world.
Oh, okay.
I've only seen like the first 3 chapters of it, but it's amazing and awesome and spectacular, and I think you would love it, especially if like you're interested in like all the SCP stuff and how it works, because uh it does it in such a really damn cool way. Like, I wonder how they did it actually, because it feels like it must have been like maybe they got different indie devs and had like an indie
Oh.
dev do like one section of the game, because like one of them is sort of like a visual novel, and then there's others where you're like walking around and interacting with things and doing stuff, and then there's like one where you're walking around and mostly observing stuff. It's really cool.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I'll have to look into that. You said is it a co-op game?
It is not
Oh,
co-op.
okay.
So yeah, it's it is single player. It's so good. Let me see if I can find it for you, and I'll send it to you on Discord.
Okay.
Although I was searching for it in a store and I found something that wasn't it, but I found something called SCP Archive that says it's a cooperative multiplayer horror experience, and I've never seen this before. I might have to look into this. Okay, maybe I accidentally have found something that could be co-op if you want to do that. And if you want, there's actually another SCP co-op game called SCP Secret Laboratory. Usually people play it kind of goofy, but it is pretty good. But you want to probably like play it with a bunch of other people on it.
Oh, okay, okay. Need more games to play. Well, alright. I'll check out those games. Well, okay. Oh, you said you were like searching for someone to raid again?
Oh right. Yeah. 1 second. I completely forgot about that. Okay. So let's see. There is Dr. Totohex or Mackenzie.
Hold on. I just want to make sure I got the name right. How do you spell the first one?
Dr. Dr. Toto Toto Hex Hex.
Huh, I don't see.
Let me link you on Discord, maybe.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, I got it wrong. I was like spelled out the whole thing. Right, doctor. Okay. Put there. Like we're doing a collab. Alright. Okay. Get it started. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright, thanks again everyone for coming to my reading stream. And thank you again, Doc, for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope everyone has a good rest of your week, and I hope everyone has a safe Halloween as well. If you're going trick-or-treating, or if you're handing out candy too, or anywhere. Or if you're going to a party, I mean. But yeah, okay. Oh, thanks for staying. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming, Conrad. But I will see everyone again next week. I'm not sure still like what to play. It might still be Corpse Factory, but we'll have to see. My sister. It's still the potatoes. It's still good, yes. Take care.
Potatoes are awesome.
Alright, bye bye everyone.
Bye.